Stand as you're able for our opening song. Okay. Well, okay. I lost it in 2 minutes. Good morning. Welcome to the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Carolyn Harvill, and it is my pleasure to welcome you this morning and to say this is a day for you to experience the love that is surrounding you all the time. And so I just put that out. I know that. I trust that. And so we open with an opening prayer, and we open with coming together in a common goal. And that common goal is the well-being of each of us in this room and those that are somewhere else this morning. Okay? So, there is one presence. There is one power. There is one perfection. And that's it. There's no division. There's no us and them. It is one. 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 And we are that one. As we look around our world, we see everywhere we look, Spirit, in omnipresence, in omnipotence, all the power that there is, and omniscience, the full knowing. And as we are one, these are also our attributes. And so we claim them, and we know them, and we accept them, and we let them be. And we set our intentions for the well-being of each of us, whatever that might mean, whether it is health or prosperity or a new relationship or a development in an old relationship, or just appreciating the sunshine. We know it. We trust it. We turn it over to the law that always says yes, and we let it be. And together, and so it is. All right. And we let the candle stand as a way of reminding ourselves of the intentions that we have set. Okay. I believe, Gordon, that you're up.
Hey, the legendary Gordon, please. Yeah, real legendary. Okay, announcements and upcoming events. Oh, that's right. Excuse me. Gotta get in position. Got it. Why aren't chickens allowed in church? Don't say it. Because they only use foul language. Where's Bev when you need her? Yeah. Okay. That's good for this audience, right? Visioning Your Life class. And this is one that will be facilitated by Vicki. So Vicki, would you like to say a couple words about that?
This is the last Sunday to sign up for visioning. We have, I think, actually probably 9 people that are going to be participating so far. There's room for you. And it starts Tuesday night, 6:30. And just let me know, and I'll be happy to get you on the list. It's going to be awesome.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Spontaneous question. Do you see that in this particular seminar that there'll be an opportunity to play with the idea that we're already acting on a vision, but we may or may not be aware of it?
Totally.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that would make that,
Absolutely.
bring it to.
The visioning fields around us all the time, and this hones our ability to naturally relax into stepping into it. Very well done. Hey, there you go.
Save me a seat. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Moving along.
Can I ask a question just real quick? Vicki, are you going to send emails out to all of us with
Yes.
the Zoom number and all that stuff?
That's coming this afternoon.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you're signed up for the class, how to get into class on Tuesdays coming
Right.
this
I
afternoon.
just wanted to make sure it wasn't something I was supposed to know when I didn't.
No, you got it. Excellent.
Okay, join us for LCSL Family Lunch, Dutch Treat, September 22nd. So that would be next Sunday, correct? Yeah, that's next Sunday. And that's just down the street here at O'Shea's at 355 Spring Street. Okay. And they have quite a variety on their menu?
Yes.
They do? Okay, good. Okay, great. Coming September 29th, special guest speaker, Brent Uzel. Is that how I pronounce it?
That is exactly it.
Okay, do we want to say anything about him?
He's totally awesome, incredibly engaging. I don't yet have his talk title, not because he doesn't have it, but he and Shannon, and there's a card back there for Shannon, they had a loss in their family over this last week, and that's the only reason why we don't have a talk title. He is prepared to be here, he's excited. That much I know.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. The Foundations of Science of Mind via Zoom, Monday, 6:30 to 9.
I'm going to step in here,
Carolyn, is
Gordon.
this-
We're offering foundations because it seems strange not to offer foundations, but we're well aware that most of our people have already taken it, and I haven't gotten a huge response from that. And so I think I'm going to change it to the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. It'll be something that we have not taught here before, so if somebody wants to take... What? 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. And so that will give us an opportunity to offer something that we've not offered before, so that anybody who's taken all of our classes will not have taken this one anyway. And it will be, we will do it on Zoom. It'll be my first effort into doing a whole class on Zoom. About halfway through, I may invite you to my house. But anyway, we'll see. But we're going to try Zoom because it works. I've done some things with Vicki, and it's worked really, really well. So if you're interested in either of those classes, if you'll get with me and let me know, I'd appreciate it. Okay?
And that's going to be a Zoom participation again for those who don't know what Zoom is.
If we on the computer, everybody comes into the Zoom.
Sort of pretty cool. I'm like all thumbs when it comes to that. I'm still out. I didn't get any better, but Zoom is really easy to use if you have even a phone.
And you'll be seeing other people.
Yes, yes, yes. Everybody will be, you know.
You're in the room with everybody.
And it's also true, if for any reason, either for 1 week or for the whole class, you do not have a computer where you can be seen, there's also a dial-in. So people do actually come in and do the whole class on the phone. So not having a computer does not have to prohibit you from taking these courses.
Okay, great. Thank you. Practitioner of the day, Tammy Steppenfield. Oh, Tammy, yay. Tammy, you want to say something?
I'm here,
Here, ready to roll. Okay,
willing to support you anyway.
okay. Confidential prayer by request. See any of the practitioners. Okay. September affirmation altogether. As I reset my attitudes for fall, I release all fears. I am happy, healthy, self-sufficient, and strong. I am beautiful in mind and body, yes. And that now brings us to the auspicious time of stories, right? No, not yet? We have something. Yes, tell your story. So, Bob, you have a story.
Awesome.
This is what you mean by traveling?
I'm working on it.
You don't get out much.
Nope. Carl Sandburg is credited with a description of life. Life is like an onion. You peel it one layer at a time. And sometimes you weep. Sometimes you make soup. I've got 3 daughters. My middle daughter was born on the Ides of March, as we call it now, which is March 15th is different from the old Roman Ides, but it still signifies, I think, the first full moon of the year. It's when they had 10 months a year. And my 3 daughters are delightful. And my middle daughter is probably the strength of the whole group. She's had lots of occurrences in her life. When she was born, she was a 10-month baby, not a 9-month baby. And when she was 2.5 or 3 years old, she took up for her older sister. Her older sister was 16 months older, is 16 months older, who was constantly going out and saying, "Good morning, everybody," and the little boy next to her would come down and belt her. And that happened once too often for Leanne, and then he came down to belt her one time, and Leanne put him on his ass, which was her beginning. At 5 or 7, she had a lazy eye, an operation, had glasses for a long time, and was becoming more and more quiet. She lost her glasses in a body of water, and they went down, and she persevered and didn't need her glasses anymore after that. As a teenager, she was struck or acquired Hodgkin's disease, in which she damn near died, didn't die, persevered. And then had a beautiful marriage and a beautiful child who was diagnosed shortly after, about a year or so after birth, as Asperger's baby. So for 18 years, she did everything she could with her wisdom and her resources, and worked with him. This is a little boy who wouldn't get on the bus. He had to be driven to school because he didn't want to wait in line to get on the bus with the rest of the kids. He went to class, and the teacher he had initially told my daughter Leanne, that's Lee-hyphen-A-N-N, she regrets she doesn't have a middle name. But her aunt is named Eve-Ann without a middle name, so that works. He said that this child should be put in an institution. Fortunately, there was a teacher, a young lady who was just having her teaching degree, who had empathy and understanding. So this little baby boy, not baby by then, he was a school kid, would nestle under her desk while she had her class. He was so open and sensitive he couldn't dim things down. Everything attacked him. Smart, but overwhelmed most of the time. She worked with him. He became a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, Colonel in the Air Cadets, and 3 weeks ago, he entered Purdue University in aeronautical engineering. So, success story here. And that's some of the layers of life she has gone through. She also had cancer in between during the time she was working with Matthew, and got that resolved as cancer of the mouth and throat, that actually the roof of the mouth. Her dentist spotted it. A week after his graduation from high school, that was this past June, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And also in the meantime, she became a gourmet class chef for kitchen stuff, but her specialty is baking cookies to give to people who have helped her. And I had the fortune to meet this teacher that helped Matthew. She also has a daughter who's 2 years younger than Matthew, who was always in the background, second child again, carrying the load that a lot of people don't appreciate. And Leanne, this past week, decided to spruce up a little bit because she has cancer surgery coming up Wednesday. And she spruced up a little bit with a white top, black pants, and she found some bright lipstick. And so she put the bright lipstick on. Her husband is very reserved. He's a chief financial officer at a construction company, pretty bridge construction type company. And he didn't think that was very attractive. He thought, why are you wearing something like that? And her daughter, this is Madeline Eleanor, was in the next room, and she heard her dad say something about like that to her mother, and she came in, she chewed her dad out first time. She said, Mom looks beautiful, and you ought to tell her so. So that worked out nicely after all. Layers and layers and layers. So on Wednesday, she has the first of radical mastectomy, and then she'll go back later because there's a possibility, not the certainty, but the possibility that it could be to the other breast. So, and right now she's frightened. Guess I am too. So if you'll think about her on Wednesday morning, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, okay, all right. I can stand up.
I think. First I have to figure out what comes next. Reading. It's not me, it's Tammy. There you go, Tam.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today I am reading out of this month's Guide of Science of Mind. And I am actually reading, no I'm not, I thought I was reading today's, but I'm reading tomorrow's. I was trying to do something with the planet. And so I picked this one, Limitless Energy Source. We are not looking in the dynamic forces needed to create the future. We are not lacking in the dynamic forces needed to create the future. We live immersed in a sea of energy beyond all comprehension. Tom Berry. There is one energy back of all. The energy is in everything. If we read, listen to, and take seriously the news media, we may become convinced that our world is running out of everything. Some of us are old enough to remember when fuel for our vehicle was 25 cents a gallon. Yes, I do. At that time, you could root around in a chair or a couch and come up with a couple of 25 cents. And when the world was in an oil crisis and people lined up for hours to buy gas, no matter what the price. I lived through that as well. People, too, are running out of energy. Some of us work more than 50 hours a week just to keep our jobs. Some work 2 or 3 jobs just to keep our families in necessities, not even considering luxuries. So many people I know are single parents, male or female, trying to provide for their children. They long for respite from their responsibilities for just a little while. There is an energy that is unlimited. There is an energy that we can tap to discover how to create whatever we need. Oil may be scarce, personal energy may be zapped, but there is an energy available to anyone who seeks it. There is a solution when we turn to that energy and let God guide us to the answers. When I am tired, I dive into the energy that renews me, both spiritually and physically. I emerge totally revitalized.
I'm tempted to say, okay, Lo, keep playing for another 5-10 minutes, and then we'll go home. I wanted to first say thank you to Bob for sharing. I know what it takes him to share, and I know that he values us enough to share something so deep. And so I thank you for being the group that he values and trusts, and I thank Bob for being willing to share from the heart. Okay. Years ago, I had a retreat leader who told this story. And the retreat that she did was something where you went and you talked about being aware of the world around you, about noticing God in the plants and the birds and everything around you, and that everything was connected. And then she would take the people that had attended, and it was usually mostly women, but she took them into a place where they could walk in the woods. Now, I think earlier this month I mentioned that there is scientific now experiments that have shown that a walk in the woods has a major effect on your body as well as your mind. If you'll allow it to, it will heal you. And so she took them through for that reason, but also because she wanted them to pay attention, because they've been talking about paying attention for 2 days. So the trail starts, about here. It's not a real long trail. You can cover it in 10 to 15 minutes easily. But on the other end, then there are logs laid out, and so you come through, and then you sit down and wait for everybody to catch up. And she had it lined up so that there would be space between. They didn't go as a group. They went as individuals. And so one would go, and they would wait for whatever amount of time, 3 minutes or 4, and then another one would go. And so that they were spaced out so that if even someone walked slower or someone walked faster, they should have enough space to leave the other freedom to be where they were. So the first day that she talked about started on the trail, and she's going down the trail, and she sees a soda can laying there, and she's, people, what in the world, look, people. And then she saw a bottle. And then she saw a newspaper, and then she saw cigarette butts, and then she all this stuff. The whole trip through the woods was all about what people had left behind, and they were so rude. And how could they be so unresponsive to the beauty all around them? Okay. By the time she got to the other end of her walk, she was quite upset because of all of the rudeness of the people in the world that just, litter. And she's sitting there on the log waiting for the others to come. And the lady behind her comes out, and she has taken her jacket and made like a bowl for it, right? And so now she's got this jacket full of soda cans and newspapers and cigarette butts and anything else that she found along the trail. And she has this beatific smile of how wonderful she's feeling. So she finds a trash can and dumps all that stuff out and then sits down on the log. And the first woman realized, you can complain about life. You can complain about what's wrong. You can, spend all your time being angry. But really, you can also do something too. However small, that trail is clean, or cleaner than it was when that woman came onto it. One of the things that this particular teacher talked about, leave everything better than you found it. And so this lady did that in walking her walk and picking up the trash and throwing things away. And another thing she said, I was thinking about the other day, if you go into a public restroom and you think, really? Do they have to splatter water everywhere? I mean, really, if the whole sink is wet, why do they do it? And so you very gingerly do your little thing and you get the little hand dryer thing and you leave. No, she taught you pull out your paper towels, you pull them down and you wipe off the whole sink and you leave it better than it was. So that the next person who comes in can set their purse down there if they want to, or whatever it is that they have in their hands that they want to lay down without fear of them getting wet. So what can you do to make it better than it was when you walked in the door or walked down the path or whatever? Okay? So that's our theme this whole month has been good stewardship of our planet Earth. And stewardship is taking care of something. If you have the stewardship of a bank account, then you're going to make sure that it is earning money and that it is protected and all those things. If you have the responsibility of a child, you're going to really work at being a good steward of that child and taking care of it. You know, our planet, was that in that song, Vicki, about if you keep listening to the sound of the news, that you're going to figure out that the earth is dead, on the edge of dead? Yeah, with everything that's going on, and yet it will survive, and we will too. If we can only get past always adding the negative to everything that we do. So to be a good steward of this planet Earth is first and foremost seeing it as you know it can be. Seeing it as the perfect balance for everything that abides on this planet Earth. You know, Bookmaster Fuller said that this is our spaceship, that the planet Earth is our spaceship where we get to ride through space and develop and be. But this is our spaceship. And if you had a spaceship, you would want to make sure that it was taken care of. And so you would work at being a good steward of that. It has been said that the one who prays is always blessed. Last week we talked about blessing being awareness and gratitude for. And so as we pray, as we take seriously our responsibility to add to the positive in the world, and we pray, we are blessed. So it's not an all altruistic thing to do, to pray for someone else, because in all the time that we are praying with sincerity, we are blessed. And so, oh, wait. I very carefully created all these things. All right, so that's ensuring the stewardship of our planet, and that's what this trail, the lady looked like with the trail, you know, going on. One man's parties, another man's stuff to clean up, you know. So, all right. We are connected and supplied with all that we need. Our spaceship is designed to give us what it is that we need to survive and thrive. Okay? And so, yeah, we've done some things that we probably are not real proud of and not really good for our planet. But the planet will continue to give to us in every way that it knows how. And everything that we need, air and nutrition and other people and place to cover our heads, all these things come from this planet that we call home. And so to bless it and to know that it is all of that and so much more is to be a good steward. Energy emanates from us and changes everything. Our anger affects the walls of the room, the people, etc. On Spaceship Earth, everything is connected. Whatever is happening on the other side of the world, or whatever is happening in this room for each individual gathered here, is affecting all the rest of us. Have you ever, some people are very sensitive to energies, and they can go into a room and they will know that there is a negative energy going on. There's anger, or there's sadness, or there's whatever. And they'll also feel the joy and the love that is there too. But whether you feel it or not, it's happening. So if you have a group of people that are gathered and they begin to be angry, for whatever reason, they start to build anger. Maybe not even all of them do, but some of them do. That anger, that energy of anger will affect every person and everything that we call inanimate and our planet that we call home. And so Kim Gordon talked about pollution, and I think I have a slide about that in just a minute, but he talked about we are polluting our planet. And the first thing that we think about is we think about, oh, we're dirting in the water, and we're using up all the resources, and we're building smog, and we're throwing things into the atmosphere. Ken Gordon said we pollute the planet when we think negatively, when we think judgmentally, when we are angry, resentful, hateful, isolationist, whatever it is, all the negative that we send out there is there, and it is affecting our planet. Now, the thing about it is that we can turn that around to be love and care and good stewardship and value and appreciation and all those other words, because it's the same energy, whether you're thinking negative or not. It is the same energy. Fear and faith are identical in that energy used in one is the same as the energy that is used in the other. Since there is but one final energy in the universe, this final energy is the energy of thought. That's the thing that has made this earth, thought. That's the thing that maintains it, thought. And not just the thought of the great thinkers, not just the thought of the original creator, your thoughts and my thoughts. They are affecting our lives down to the floor we stand on. And so we have that opportunity to think about a new way of thinking. You know, Tammy shared with y'all one of the things that we did at Silmar with the bracelet, you know, and moving it back and forth. It's a tool to use for awareness of what you're thinking. You wear the bracelet on this side, and you can either do, you can do anything you want to, but he was talking about doing a negative. You think a negative thought, anger, judgment, frustration, anxiety, worry, any of those negative thoughts, and you take the rubber band bracelet off and you put it on the other wrist. And we do have some stuck around there if you'd like to have one. And then you have to do it again. And the goal is to not move the band for 27 days. But you start over every time you have to move it, okay? So if you get up in the morning and you're angry with somebody, you have to move the bracelet. And if 10 minutes later you get angry at somebody else, you have to move the bracelet. And so it's this constant thing to keep you in awareness of what you are thinking. It does. It really does. And I met a minister who said, I don't do negatives, but I do positives. So every time he has a positive thought, when he says the world is beautiful and the world is going to be good, or he thinks about spirit, or he thinks about loving another person, or being part of it, whatever that is, then he moves it. And so he wants to move it because it's more positive thoughts. But you have to work it out the way you want to. The way it was explained to us is that it is when you catch yourself doing something that's negative, you switch the bracelet over. And if you're really hard on yourself, you can pop that rubber bracelet and be in pain for a long time. You know? Be constantly reminded for a while. No, it's not really necessary. So the energy of thought is the only energy. So whether you're thinking angry thoughts or thinking loving thoughts, you're still using the same energy. And you can use it in a different way if you choose to. Okay? Our fear, resentment, anger, judgment, etc. can be called how we pollute the earth. And it is something for us to think about. Are we polluting our lives? Are we inviting into our lives things that are so negative and that bring us down? You know, the negative energy that we surround ourselves with sometimes causes physical expressions of those thoughts. And people end up with stuff and they don't know where it came from, but if they go back to it, they'll find out that their thoughts were very negative in an area. And it's expressing in that way. And it's not fun. You know, you're going along and you have something going on, maybe a relationship that doesn't work, or prosperity that's not working, or health that's not what it needs to be. And you have to stop and think, okay, what did I think to get me here? Sometimes you really don't want to know. But just to be aware that it did originate within you, that either your acceptance or your creation has affected what you are thinking and feeling and knowing and believing. We did a meditation last week that I thought was really good. And so we're going to do it again. And it takes about 7 minutes, and it's called Mother Earth, I Hear You. Is it I Hear You? Or
the title is actually Mother, I Feel You.
I Feel You. Okay. So the idea being that get connected to being connected. you know, as the next 7 minutes and we hear the music and the videos on, and whether or not you sing along, that's up to you. Whether or not you close your eyes, that's up to you. I invite you to be comfortable and listen. And to listen for the resonance. Listen for the feeling that your heart is beating with the rhythm of the earth, with the planet, with all that is. And just be in that space of listening and feeling. You know, you don't need a lot to meditate. It's nice to have a led meditation, but it's not necessary. But to have the option to know that you can connect, that is a very important thing to understand. So we're going to move into a place of meditation. And I'm going to move my chair because I just realized I'll be in their way if they want to read. Okay. So I do invite you to get comfortable, whether that's most of us or some of us, feet on the floor. And it's a way, especially thinking about connecting with earth, it's a way to do that through your feet. Feel the energy of the earth come up through your feet and up your legs and up your body and all the way.
And we can chant with it.
Yes, yes, you can chant with it. And so, I invite us to relax into this space, into this time, into the feelings and the thoughts, and into our intention for the well-being of so many. Take a breath. being in tune with all that is. And let it be. And so it is. Okay. We will have lights again in any moment. Well, who's abundance today? Who? Okay, all right.
I'm prosperity.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. All right. And that we wanted to mention that the square has been moved to one of these tables over here. Oh, over here in the corner. And so please go that direction when you need to use that. Okay? All right. Did somebody bring tomatoes?
Yes. Steve. Yes.
Oh, homegrown tomatoes on the back table. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Prosperity affirmation. Shame on me. I am
Always.
guided toward my good. And so it is, yes.
Thank you.
Would you hand me the prayer box over there? I was at a conference. I used to be Episcopalian, and there was an Episcopal minister there, and he said, you know, I used to stand at the back of the room as they were bringing in the money, and he said, my wife told me to stop doing that. Oh, gosh. All right. We offer our blessings to bless more. We are grateful for those who support us. We're grateful for those who support us in any way, whether it's financial or attendance or prayer or whatever that might be. And we appreciate them. And we take our tithes and offerings knowing that they are blessed and that we will send them forth to bless the community. And so it is.
Carolyn, can I say something?
I'm sorry?
Prayer, can I say something?
Yes, yes.
I have put in the prayer box for weeks that Steve would sell his house and finance. And as of yesterday, it's done, and he'll close on the 21st with both houses.
Yeah.
And I believe and know the practitioner's extra treatment and prayer is what made this all come to fruition.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Where are you gonna live now?
Well, it's out across from Westport Village.
Oh, okay. You're not depending on the comfort and hosting of strangers? Not gonna be out on the street? Okay.
I have to use Susan's for a little while, I don't know.
So are you guys saying, no, is the closing on both houses, the sale and the purchase the same day?
That's
Okay,
correct.
Awesome. Yes, I'll be knowing too that you're leveraging energy, because having that energy go out and then come back in one day, that's quite the wave.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And next spring, when I get ready to sell my house, okay?
We'll just transfer that right on over there.
That's right. That's right. All right. So we have the prayer box, and if you any Sunday come and want to put a prayer in it, then feel free to do that. We don't seem to have any additions to it, but that doesn't keep us from praying. So we take a deep breath. Knowing the power and the presence that is, we are grateful. And so right now we speak our word as one for the health of each person here gathered. Whatever it is, little pain here or big problem there or whatever it is, that it is held in the power of the one and it is healed. And we hold the prosperity of each of us, knowing that as we give and we receive, knowing as that we know that it's coming, that it just keeps rolling over and into our lives. And we're grateful. And we know that we are in relationships with people we love and people who love us. And those we don't even know tend to our needs, treat us with special care. And we are grateful. And so we let it be. We release it into the great I am. And together we say, and so it is. All right. Oh, please stand for the closing song. Let's amoeba up. Amoeba? We never get a circle going, but we kind of get a roundabout thing kind of going. If you don't want to hold hands, don't hold hands. That's, I know that some prefer not to, and that's fine. Told you it was an amoeba. This is a 2-layer amoeba.
I'm going to go over here. We'll go behind them.
Okay, we got it. We're up to the challenge, absolutely. And so take a look at somebody to your right or to your left and say, you are a good steward. All right, turn to someone else and tell them, I appreciate your stewardship.
I appreciate your stewardship.
And our planet is our home, and we bless it in this moment, and we bless each other. And we go forth knowing that as life is expanding always, so is the planet, and so is each of us. And so it is.
I heard the service house.